In this video, we're going to talk about two very important parts of using forest mulching to make trails and access to your property rather than clearing. And these are vital to getting the most out of your land before you put a lot of money into it. I'm Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead. Let's talk about the regrowth of the forest after it has been mowed or mulched. Now, I don't know if you can see it in this picture, but I'm out here checking the deer cameras, and these little tiny bumps in the trail, obviously I can step over them, they're not really in the way, is essentially new growth from the coppice of mulching out these trees. So there used to be small trees in here, of course trees smaller than this size, and mostly brush like this over here. And that forest mulcher came through here and cut paths on contour. You can see in my previous video where we talked about this, and what it leaves behind is a mulchy trail. And what you'll notice, do you see those butterflies flying around? Do you see those little tiny plants? Now, it's hard to see some of them because the main reason I'm checking deer cams is because, oops, I think I scared that butterfly off, but here we go. Let's just get a close-up down here. What is this? Now, you might be saying that's a maple tree struggling to come back after it's been ground down to the soil and its body strewn all around this area, but that actually is deer fodder. It is the maple tree coming back, and I can easily, when it gets probably maybe 3 feet tall, 2 feet tall, easily push it over with a flail mower. I don't have to bring in a forest mulcher anymore. But essentially, these little spots of food are all the way down this trail. Can you see how that might be valuable? So for one thing, the access paths, and we have a whole program on this, by the way. If you visit the website, www.prosperityhomestead.org, go to the contact page, ask your questions about holistic land management, you'll see that what we're able to do here is stimulate beneficial insects, beneficial animals, and other habitats. So instead of having dense woods like this, where there's no sun coming down and making it to the soil, we instead have these trails and access points where sun is definitely hitting the soil. You know, it's a little bit warmer out here, but because we didn't dig out the trees, see there's a stump here, we essentially ground everything through. We are leaving behind the opportunity for more growth. Now, I actually seeded a lot of these trails with cover crop. So I used a pasture blend, and I will come back out here as we're camping, as we're hiking, as we're enjoying the land. I will come back out here and pick up these sticks and things, because again, I asked the forest mulcher to go as quickly as possible. Don't worry about taking down a tree too much. In fact, he left behind trees about this thick, and I actually did that cut because we're going to use these poles to make some little Adirondack shelters out here. But normally a forest mulcher would grind all of this material, but again, this is not a residential property. This is not in a neighborhood somewhere. This property is being designated for agricultural use and environmental preservation. Now, I'm not going to tie it all up inside of some trust or anything, but ultimately my point being is that we want to create maximum value for local habitat, which includes deer, fox, coyote, bear, turkey, the list goes on. I won't name the squirrels because they'll laugh at me, because they sometimes will be up in these trees looking down as the lookouts for the deer, because I do see deer on the camera, but I don't see them in person. But here's the point. Here is the larger point. I got blueberries coming back. I've got what looks like it might be a ramp right there. I've got wild strawberries coming back. I've got the maple tree coming back. All of this is food for the deer, and the trails give me a nice, clean, clear shot. Now, as I've said in other videos, I don't go out and hunt. At my current skill set, which I'm working on, I'm more of the nature preservation, the naturalist in the sense to maintain the land and to build up the land. But essentially what we've got here is a nice, clean kind of backstop for hunting activities. As you can see, that drops down into a ditch, and then there's an embankment along the back, and then we got a nice clean trail that comes across here. Now, I do monitor the land for deer stands, because when you improve a piece of land and other people notice that it's improving the hunting habitat, I just saw a bee fly around here, that's good too, and it's improving the natural environment, it will attract humans as well. So that's why we have deer cameras, that's why we regularly visit the property, and of course, if we do find anything, I am sure to geotag it and figure out what the hell's going on. But my point being is the grasses are recovering, the shrubberies are recovering, the trees will recover, and they will put up a certain amount of biomass that's going to have a higher green density value or food density value to the wildlife, and it's going to open up this area as habitat. Now, that habitat already exists out here. There's already bees out here in the woods somewhere. There's already deer out here. All we're simply doing is boosting it a little bit. Now, the way these trails were put in, I have an idea of where my angles are, because we're actually standing at what's going to be a 100-yard rifle range and temporary range. You're not going to use it all the time as a range, but when it comes hunting time, I know that looking down here is downhill, and that there's a nice hill back there as a backstop. Now, the forest mulching does have its disadvantages. For one, you got to pay to have it done, but the advantages far outweigh those disadvantages. Another disadvantage is getting the guy on the schedule. I got another a little area of land that I want to clear out elsewhere on this property. But can you see how this is far more beneficial than simply clear cutting the land? In fact, I've been eyeing a few properties. Now, I'm not the type of guy that's going to go walk out on somebody's property without permission, but there's been a couple clear cut projects around here that I would like to document, and that's why you want to make sure you like and subscribe, and that you're paying attention on the channel, because I can access and use this land right now. I can use it as a shooting range. I can hunt on it. My friends can hunt on it. I can certainly go camping on this property, and all that was done in just 2 days. I didn't have to wait for a logger to come in. Now, some folks might be saying, well, Justin, you could get money having the land logged. I don't think, and I had a forester look at this, it's not really going to be that valuable. And with the access routes cut in here by the forest mulcher, trees like this, which might make okay timber. By the way, it's like one in if I drew a 1,000-foot circle around it, there's like only one of these trees here. They can still get access to them. They can come down one of these roads with a piece of equipment. They can get that one tree out. They can get 2 trees out, drag them out of here, and do what they need to do with them. Now, you have to understand, when you clear cut the whole property, it changes how the wind moves across the property. It changes how the life and habitat of that property, and the forest mulching does not. It opens the land up, gives it a little bit more airflow, gives you the ability to move around the property without getting covered in ticks. And then as it comes back, it is like a magnet to deer. Like, you can see the grays on that. Now, and you can see ants. Look at those ants. Now, to be fair, the pasture blend I put in here has food plot related items. Now, I didn't plant these trees that are coming up here. These trees will come up like coppice, just like these trees were mowed down a long time ago, and they came up in several little individual shoots. But my larger point here, again, is how do you utilize land? How do you maximize the value of land? And how do you do it with minimal inputs? If I come in here and have this bulldozed and clear cut, and then it sits for a couple years before there's a house, I'm wasting time, I'm wasting resources, and I'm not getting the opportunity to inventory what's out here. I've seen a few nice looking bucks. I've seen quite a few does, some scrawny looking does. I haven't seen any little babies, but ultimately I'm getting myself distracted. I see something cool down in the woods there I'm gonna have to go check out. But anyway, the point is, we are now working with nature. We're cultivating the land in such a way that we're getting maximum value with minimum inputs, and we're producing kind of a family experience, kind of an opportunity to hike and camp, and to later down the line, you know, if I get into hunting, I was thinking about bow hunting. It's all possible without a heavy investment. Cut all the trees down, and you're going to end up with a clear piece of land. You might put a little bit of money in your pocket, but I would much rather have that habitat. I'd much rather have healthier, stronger bucks. I'd much rather have, I've heard turkey out here. I haven't seen them yet. I have heard turkey out here. All these things come together to give you a better experience, better enjoyment, and a better lifestyle. That's what we're all about here at Prosperity Homestead. So again, I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. Be sure to check into the other videos. And again, as a free service to the subscribers, I make available, if you go to www.prosperityhomestead.org and ask your questions. I'm certainly got plenty of materials to share with you that are not available on the YouTubes and all these other channels. And if there's something specific you want to know about, I'll be more than happy to go in there. Be sure to check out the other videos. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to get involved in what we're doing here, because we can take even the worst piece of land and transform it into massive value for your family, recreational resource, even investment land. Now again, if this land had bigger trees on it, it may take a different path. It took an assessment, it took focus, but again, we chose to stimulate it with mulched paths and ultimately create better natural habitat.